Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Annegirls. We are still in the witching hour. She's
But
real.
you know what? We're almost done. We're past page 800. We're in like the downward slope. We're about to be done with this, bitch. We just have to suffer for a little longer.
A little bit more.
Just a little bit.
So we're on chapter 31 through 35 in this episode. And really, as Steph and I were talking before about like approaching the episode, we realized that 32 through 35,
Nothing.
there's really not much to talk about there. I mean, I have a few notes and we'll talk about them as we get there, but one thing I want to say is as a writer who writes long form fiction, I do understand having, like, you have beats, you have pacing, you have things you want to do. And I know that I set my books up over a skeleton kind of that tells me like where things are going to land, what chapters are going to have this action, this reaction, that kind of thing. And I feel like maybe that's why, because sometimes I will write blindly like that, where I'm just like, and then the workman and blah blah blah. Like I would never have workmen, but anyway, but that's kind of what she's doing. Is she's just like talking about day-to-day stuff. And I think what we're trying to get at here is that she is involved in the house and fucking with the house, which we know is a no-no in ghost situations. You don't fuck with the house, but nothing is happening. But I feel like you could put a fat paragraph in the beginning of a chapter with some action in it and it would do the same thing. I don't think we need to read through all this, but
We don't. It's literally just domestic shit. It's Michael getting excited about, doing this stuff. Great expectations coming back to life because my baby's got money and I don't care. I don't care. Respectfully, Anne, I don't give a shit. But you know what she made sure to do? Do you know what she made sure to do, which pissed me off? When he's okay, first of all, he's talking about how nice all the workers are while he's out scouting for people to work on this. Of course they're nice. You have endless fucking money.
yeah.
Of course they're going to be nice to you. They want your money. It's not just because like you're some great fucking guy, out in the town. And then when he's talking about the various workers, like great, he's passionate about all that stuff. Like that's his jam. That's his bread and butter. But how are you going to talk about who was it? One of the sets of workers. Like he's like, oh, there's painters and then there's plasterers or whatever the fuck. And he makes sure to say that specifically those groups, that group of people, they're descendants of colored people who were free before the Civil War. Fuck you, because you're not even talking about the Irish folks anymore, but you're gonna slip in the colored people? Well, you could just say black folks or you could just ignore it.
And he doesn't just call them colored, and it just sounds icky to me. But I know that's an antiquated term for a mixed race person. And I don't understand why in the early 90s that terminology would still be. It
doesn't make sense.
It
doesn't make sense for the time where they're now.
Yeah, I was a child at that time period, and I live in a racist community, albeit in Eastern Washington that doesn't see many black folks. But I've never heard anything like that. Like, no. That sounds like some fucking 1800s shit. I don't understand why it would even pass his lips.
It shouldn't. But then, like, Michael's are for the streets, especially this one. So I'm like, if really she's giving, like, backhanded shit to remind you that Michael's a bad guy, which doesn't make sense because she's in love with him, that would make sense. But, like, you can cut that out along with these fucking chapters. You could just condense that. Great, they're working on the house, not shit's happening after the explosion in chapter 31, and then they go on vacation to Florida.
Which I did like that they were going to Florida, because I was like, oh, they're going to visit Stef.
Fuck off. It's northern Florida. It's on the Panhandle side. And they said Destin, and I was like, shoot me. It's not
Is it a bad place? I've never been
No,
there.
but it just doesn't fucking matter. Like it's not exciting.
Hmm.
They mentioned like they breezed over condos in Miami and in Boca and things like that, which is where the concert is tonight. It's in Boca. So it's like, okay, South Florida, all right. You know what I mean? But also like, okay, they're just on their rich white people shit. Like, good for Rowan for inheriting billions of fucking dollars and just slipping into that life. I'm like, we've done enough work telling people what to do. Let's go on vacation. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't
Well,
care.
also we start out this chapter with like Michael just talking about all these antiques, and I'm like, this man probably smells like Werther's Original. Like he just he's like I bet he watches Antiques Roadshow. Like this
He
is
does, and he gets a boner. He
yes.
does. He's like,
And then
yeah.
Rowan sitting there like
Like, oh, that's my man.
it was unmitigated pornography. Ugh.
Please. The way she talks about Michael makes me want to yeet myself.
Well,
It makes me want to yeet
I
myself.
thought it was just her at first that I was disgusted with. And then I saw Michael talk about titties in the last chapter. And
And
I
how he
want
loves her girlish body.
yeah, I did clock that and I was not okay with it. But
Mm-mm.
I am in Washington State. I don't know where Bezos' dick ship is, but he is, he's ruined Seattle, so I'm assuming it's somewhere in Seattle. I feel like I just need to hijack it and yeet myself into the sun after the things that I've read here because I just
It's a lot. It's a lot. Like literally, I did like chapter 31. I thought it was fucking crazy, right? But then right after it, in chapter 32, it starts with Rowan just popping off about how violently erotic she finds Michael and his little dangly cross and his old man pubes and
ah!
his old man inability to get it up 2 times in a row. And she's like, yeah, I like that shit. Can't fuck me twice. And that makes me horny. What?
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what she was saying. Ugh. I just
It's confusing. You talk about banging dudes on your doctor's sailor boat, okay? And then you immediately are like, okay, she's so fucking delulu, okay? She's so fucking delulu. Like, she immediately is like, she goes from being this sexy doctor sailor and fucking all these dudes on her boat to being like this man with his dangly cross necklace. I have to keep saying it because she talks about it so much.
I know.
His inability to do me as often as I require, that puts me in check. I love that. Okay. I love that for me. And I'm gonna marry him, and I'm gonna keep whispering it to him while he's asleep, and talk to people and refer to him as my husband. That's
yes.
just my life now.
Okay, you know what? I'm all about the delusional life, but
Of course.
you he has given us every reason to believe he is just as fucked in the head as her. And I mean, this bitch just inherited billions of dollars.
Billions.
All she's got to do is say, we're getting married. He's going to go along with it. Like, why
he gets that house and
coy? Yeah.
I don't know. She could claim anybody and they would just say, oh, okay.
All right. Miss Billionaire. Like, if nothing else, they're just going to try to outlive her so that they can inherit.
But it's just, okay. It's also this thing where she has like a god complex. Even though she loves the shit out of Michael for no reason, she thinks everybody around her is like less than, and like she thinks everybody else is super naive and she's the only one who sees how the world actually works.
But Michael has the same thing.
He does. And what's so interesting to me is that they don't have deep conversations with one another. As soon as she was like disregarding his feelings and he's like, I should uphold my boundaries, instead he's like, let me just look at her because she's pretty and then I'm gonna fuck her and then we're not gonna talk about it until the next thing happens. That's psychotic.
I will say their conversations are incredibly boring, and I have a hard time not checking out to them because
I do.
they're
I do.
boring and they're peppered with disgusting shit I don't want to hear.
Yeah, so I read it and it's basically in my eyeballs and out the fucking back door
Mhm.
because I can't imagine talking to people like that. It like I can't.
I can't either. Um, the other thing about this chapter and like the chapters after it, because like I got more intense. I don't know if you remember my critique of Bad Ben as like this is just an ad for this man's house. Um, my understanding is that this house is kind of based on Anne Rice's actual house that she lived in New Orleans because that's actually where the show is filmed apparently is Anne Rice's old house or like the outside of it is Anne Rice's.
Way.
Yeah, that's what they said. I listened to the podcast, so I picked that up there.
I
But
shan't be doing that.
I was just like this feels like Bad Ben times 1,000 because she's just going over like all of the little things. It's like I put my house on Craigslist and this is how I'm going to sell my house.
She's very horny for her own house, and I respect
It's
that.
weird though, but
I reserve the right to skim that shit because I'm not horny for
Yes.
her house.
I don't know, dude.
Respect on that because she obviously is like really giddy over details, like house details, and I love that for her, but I'm not gonna love it the same way
As a reader, I don't like it. It reminds
Oh.
me of Nathaniel Hawthorne and like The House of the Seven Gables, which is like actually a really good novel, except you will get into pieces of it where he's like describing the dewdrops on top of the leaves on the rose bushes, and you have to sit there and go into this like micro description of something. It feels the same way, and I don't want to waste time there, brother. I've got a really good imagination. I can see things very easily when I'm reading. I don't need to like sit in the weeds for 5 hours. All it does is frustrate me. It throws the pacing off, which I feel like I feel like she's kind of trying to pump the brakes because now Lasher is going to come into play and he's going to come into play big time.
That's what I've been waiting for. This is literally the last tiniest section of the fucking book. Like,
I know.
I get the files. I'm sorry to be so angry, but I get the files and dumping all that history on us. But like, I survived that. The prize should be picking up the fucking pace and let me see some Lasher shit, okay? I really thought for a second when Rowan's like, the trees are moving in a mysterious way. It must be Lasher. I thought he was gonna be sitting in the fucking tree, but no. She's just making an assumption. I don't care about that. I want to see some. I want to see some stuff. You know, like squishy. Okay, all right. Hold on. Because I want to talk about chapter 31. But before that, when I was saying that Rowan, she thinks that everybody else around her is like super naive and whatever. She literally was talking about Aaron and Michael, like first saying like how bad she needed them. She was happy that they were there, and then she's like, yeah, but these are chicken heads. They've never cut into a cerebellum. We're not on the same level. Girl, fuck you.
I'm just like, does it ever cross your mind that some people don't want to cut into a cerebellum? Like they're perfectly fine with that. Like I don't need this talk about power. It was stomach turning to me. Like, why do you need that? What is wrong with your fucking brain? Maybe somebody needs to cut into your cerebellum. Maybe somebody needs. No, I don't want to go that far.
No, but maybe
nobody needs an eye pickup
person. Maybe she's the last person who should have inherited billions of dollars. Just say.
Yeah, because she's a little megalomaniacal. Just
that little power struggle between her and what's the lady's name? Lauren Mayfair.
Yeah.
That little girl, shut up. Just take the fucking money. Just take it.
Honestly, if I'm in that situation, I'm acting dumb as fuck just to get.
I want this conversation to be over. Just give me the access to the money I can live on.
This is boring. I want to start a press. This is what I would do because, like, I would have a pet project too. And the other thing that really showed me who Rowan was in that moment, in that scene, was she's like, oh, don't mistake me. I'm not talking about philanthropy. I'm talking about making fucking money off of the suffering of other human beings. And I'm like, you capitalist hoe. I'm going to take you
And
on the
scene.
street and beat the shit out of you.
Right, use your fucking power and kill me now, bitch. Sorry.
What? You better fucking use your power, because
Better use it quick.
You're going to be fucked.
You better hope Lasher can save you, because you're about to catch these hands. That's so
Exactly.
She's so annoying. She's so annoying. Oh my god. Like,
yes. I think that she kind of stepped up into like the realms of how much I hate Michael in this moment. Like, I know I'm gonna hate Michael more in like 5 minutes, but for now, Michael and Rowan are pretty evenly matched with how much I hate them in this very moment in the book.
Back to meditate. All right, let's talk about chapter 31. Like, we literally went backwards because this is shit. All that shit could have just been smushed into one chapter. Now, this book has some legitimately, besides, let's take incest out of the equation for a second, because obviously that's some disturbing shit. But this book has some legitimately like disturbing and frightening scenes like that spook me to my core. You know, like the old man getting possessed at the dinner table. That shit was fucking crazy. So this was one of those. I started my notes for this by saying they're so pretentious, and and I aspire to be Rowan's level of Delulu by trying to coddle Michael and say, oh, what your vision really wanted, like what they really wanted was for us to move into this house and love each other. Forget your mission that you think it is. It's this, girl. No.
Yeah.
No, and she's a bitch because she knows, well, for a lot of reasons, but she knows that Michael's hands are fucked up and it scares him to do the thing, and she's like, touch my dead mom's stuff.
Yeah.
Touch her nightgowns.
Michael was also just such a bitch in that scene. I'm sorry, but he's like, no, I'm putting my boundaries down. I'm not doing this. And then like he's calling himself a pussy internally because you're in his head in that scene. And then after he calls himself a pussy enough, he's like, fuck this, I'm gonna go do it. And then he touches her nightgown, which
Of
I
all
don't know,
things,
that's a little inappropriate. That's mommy's nightgown, okay?
totes inappropriate. It touches her bod, like her naked bod.
That she probably fucked Lasher in that nightgown. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. I don't know, that's a lot. And then he just absolutely loses fucking shit. Yeah. Like, it's all downhill from there. And I think it's a really interesting scene because the way I envisioned it in my head was psychotic, like and Rowan just following him around like, Michael, what is wrong? What did you think was gonna happen? Like, what did you think was gonna happen?
Yeah. My question, okay, so he is moving around, but I think some of it, I think what's really good about this scene is you can't tell what's the vision and what's actual like 3D happening, which it's very well written. This was the first part where I was like, wow, I'm really enjoying
yes, me too.
What I'm doing for the first time in a while. It also explained the jars, which had kind of perplexed me for a while because I was like, what was she doing?
Yeah.
But then
I thought there was dead babies.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And I was like, I wonder if they were trying to make Lashers like before they were able to. But then it was like even grosser, and especially like that scene. Never let me write anything that requires the sentence, the dead cock erects between his legs. Never.
Okay.
Never.
That sentence literally horrified me. Okay. Horrified me. So the whole time where he's like thinking about the jars, and then he cracks one of them shits open and he's talking about the smell, and then when he puts his hand inside, I was gagging. I was not feeling well when I was reading this, and I was literally like, I'm sick. I'm so sick right now. Like, my imagination was actually just thinking about it right now. It really fucking grosses me out. And he's like, and it's squishy and the little head and the bloodshot eyes, and I'm like, ugh, ew.
It's like breaking down, just like the idea of like, I don't know, like something that was human, like decaying. Like that bothers me anyway, like the idea of like decay, because it reminds me of my own mortality, right? I don't like that. I don't want to be faced with that. I don't want to see a dead body. I had hard times with my relatives that passed, and I had to see them in their coffin. It was very emotionally unsettling to me. I couldn't imagine jamming my hands into a jar with dead decaying matter in it.
I have a stress watermelon because it's a lot for me.
I have a poutine. She's like a little roll. She's really cute, and she squishes.
I love poutine. Yeah, we need that. We need the emotional support to go through this episode because that was a lot. And in the middle of this, there's all these fucking ghosts that are like coming at him, and I can't imagine the sensory overload of doing this disgusting thing. Okay, and it also he's getting these flashbacks to Marguerite and Julian being fucked up crazy weirdos.
Yeah,
and he's like touching the dolls and stuff, and he's getting all of it's an assault. It's a whole spiritual mental assault.
Did you catch that there was a sentence that says that meant the frail little thing between them was his Deborah? And they said his Deborah.
Yes. Okay, so
do you know what that's about, or do you think that they're insinuating? I was like, are they insinuating that Michael is the reincarnation of Peter Van Abel?
Oh, I did not. But actually, I literally just got heebie-jeebies because ew, I have shivers.
Because Michael is Talamasca coded, and also my brother reminded me of something. Michael is you saw my meme. Michael is related to Rowan. So that's why I was wondering if that's what they were insinuating with that. I didn't catch that the first time. I never saw that before, but that makes sense to me. Like that's what they would insinuate, because they're already insinuating that like Rowan has some kind of tie to like the Van Abel timeline anyway, because
that would make so much fucking sense, because that would make sense as to why she appeared to Michael and the so maybe Rowan's not as delulu. Maybe she's just well, I mean, but at the same time, she's very anti it. Like she's always like, forget about that shit. Forget about it. We're gonna do our own thing. But you're not really. She's literally doing exactly what Lasher wants her to do. He wants you to be in the house. Like he's the access, bitch. And she's like, don't worry about it. Okay.
Michael literally said that he was told it was a trap, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna stay here. I'm just gonna stay here." Like
that one of the cousins tells her it's a trap. Like it is.
Oh yeah, it was the cousin, not Michael. You're right.
And Carlotta wanted me to burn this shit to the ground, which is everybody should just let you burn it to the ground. Just burn it down. You got a lot of money, build another one somewhere else. Burn it down. It's weird to me. Rowan's very like, she's just falling right into the shit. I want my cousins, and I'm gonna bring this house back to life, and I'm gonna do what I want. And I am bigger. That's the thing. That's her little god complex. I'm bigger than everything, including Lasher, when she has no idea what Lasher is because he hasn't revealed himself. She just knows she got fucked on a plane, and even though it was a violation, she liked it. That's all. That's all she knows. She's like, I'm bigger and I'm better. Come at me, bro. And he's like, you're already in my ghost hands.
Yeah,
baby.
I mean, the other thing about it is she can say what she wants to say, but whole scene, the whole I think it was like more, it's been a little peppered throughout, like these little scenes of her like, are you scared of me? Why are you talking to it? If you don't want it to come through and you don't believe in it, why are you engaging with it?
And there was that thing where she admitted, she was like, for a second she let herself think that she was one of them. She was Marguerite and Julian, and she was one of the witches or whatever. And then she's like, stop, you're being silly. Girl.
She is totally already, I mean,
She's a goner. She's done for. She's gonna get her
she's
uterus
already,
exploded or whatever.
no.
Oh
Doesn't.
no!
She doesn't.
I don't know what's happening, and that's so stupid for us being at the place where we are, and I have no idea what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, we still don't really know what Lasher is at this point in the narrative, which is a choice. I do think like there's a value to keeping him kind of elusive, but I mean all we're getting is this storytelling around these two insufferable people. I think that this book is a hard sell to like other readers because of that, because
Yeah.
I hate these two characters. They're terrible fucking people. There's honestly not a good Mayfair. There's not a
No.
Mayfair that, I mean, the coolest Mayfair was Stella. That's it. And that's just because she's like, fuck you, I'll do what I want. Which is,
You know, speaking of the Mayfairs, Michael talked repeatedly about Antha on the
yeah.
roof, and he kept saying Antha scuttling across the roof or Antha running across the roof, and I'm just like why you keep talking about that one specifically?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it's disturbing. Like it would be disturbing. So Antha is also not in good condition. She has her eye ripped out. So like that would be
Yeah.
a very disturbing ghost to see, I would think. It could just be that. I mean, it could be something, I don't know, maybe it could foreshadow something else that I'm forgetting. But
Who knows? Maybe we'll find out if she decides to put some substance in the next 5 chapters. I don't know. Sorry to talk mad shit.
I mean,
but...
we have 2 more books to go after this, but not all of these are going to be centered on the Mayfair so much.
It's okay. Lasher is literally like less than half of this, so that's fine.
You know what else disgusted me?
I don't know what.
Her talking about like the dumb sweaty curls on the back of Michael's neck.
Yeah, she talked a lot about his weird patches of hair.
And how like mainstream horny she is. And then I was like, I'm so disgusted. I'm so disgusted. But then I had to take a step back. Because
Why?
I'm like, I had to take a walk once after seeing the top of someone's hip at a show. But I was like, I'm just as bad. I'm just as fucking bad. I wrote a poem about him. And I know it's a good poem because it's the only poem I've ever written that got nominated for an award. So
I'm not saying anything.
I mean, that's the thing is like I'm seeing so much reflected back to me in this that
Okay.
I'm just like, oh my god.
Okay, I can give you that because of the kind of person I am, and I guess whatever the spectrum of my sexuality is, I don't find normal shit about people attractive or like, quote unquote normal. And like the more I know someone, the more weird shit I find attractive about them. And I can literally, as creepy as it sounds, just like fucking watch you all day and be like, I like that. I like the way you're breathing right now. I guess. But the
Same. I can be too. Like
the problem here is though that they're shitty people and we just don't like it.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
all.
Like that's the one thing I kind of came to at the beginning of chapter 32 was I like just had to take a step back and realize I'm not mad at the way this is written. This is actually written very much like a like believable romance.
Yeah.
The things I don't like are the people. The people are terrible and unlikable. And I will say though, I need to stop hearing about his or her sex, which he called her pussy. It was the flame of her sex against his leg.
I literally accidentally just threw my watermelon. I got a backup fruit, but like my.
And then she said the words genitally erotic.
She did say that. That's not real. Shut up.
I want to take those. I want to get every dictionary in the entire world and rip those two words out of every dictionary, and then put every computer in the world that has access to the internet and can see like dictionary.com into the dick ship and launch it into the sun.
Yeet it.
Never
Yeet it
again. Never again do I want to hear those two words together, or like even apart. Maybe I don't even know if I want to hear them apart.
Was Annalise a drinker? You know, like casual or otherwise? Because I can literally imagine her holding her cup like, I'm gonna fuck with people right now. I'm gonna fuck with them. What can I mash together that's gonna be super fucked up? Yeah, I like that. Genitally. Yeah, it's a good one. And she's like, Stan, can read this. Can read this shit I just put together.
Does this make you horny, baby? No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They took bone breaks in between her writing this.
Guaranteed. Oh my.
Whatever. Old people need love too. I don't know how old she was.
It's not that. It's that if I'm sorry, but if Michael and Rowan turn you on, there's something wrong with your brain.
She obviously loves Michael. She does. She obviously loves him. It was easy for her to write these scenes. I'm telling you, there's no way she cringed herself. Otherwise, these chapters wouldn't be so fucking long.
Oh, the other thing I just read.
Oh man.
There is a scene where Rowan talks. It's the same one where like all this weird sex talk is going on, but she talks about like squeezing her legs together until she gets an orgasm. That's kind of insane.
I was really confused about that scene, and I actually read it twice because I was like,
"What?" Is she just talking about dry humping it?
That's what it sounds like.
Okay, but why would you squeeze?
I don't know, but dry humping shouldn't even do. That's how you start forest fires. That shouldn't even be doing anything for you. You're seasoned. You're a Dr. Sailor. This is gonna be a drinking game. Drink every time Steph says Dr. Sailor.
She's kind of like, I don't know, like she's kind of given up the doctor thing now. It feels like she's just gonna.
Yeah, and that's fine because like I totally understand investing in the thing that you love. I think something bad is gonna come out of it, but that's just me being a pessimist. I would.
Oh, something bad's gonna come out of it. Trust me.
Look, I'm smart. Like I can see that shit coming. I totally get that. Like, you know, whatever's. I don't know. I feel like it's a lot because if I inherited billions of dollars, I would fuck right off.
Oh yeah,
I would fuck right off.
You wouldn't even know I existed. I'd be
gone. And I like that she picked back up the custom of taking care of the family because like if I had billions, all you got to do is hit me up. And I'm gonna pay for your house. I'm gonna pay your medical bills. I'm gonna pay for your cars. I'm gonna set you up. Give your kids college funds. I'm gonna do that because it's endless money. What the fuck do I need it for in this lifetime?
Yeah.
Have it. You're my family.
I wouldn't have billions pretty quickly because I would be giving it away. Not just family. I'd give it away to anyone.
No, for it. Well, yeah, I would set up like multiple like scholarships, foundations. You know what I mean? This money can change the world. And she starts by talking about like, oh, these lawyers are bitches because they don't think about the good of mankind. Neither do you.
No, she's talking about making money off of people's shit. And that's fucked up. I honestly think that like insurance companies and for-profit hospitals and if there is a hell and there is something beyond this, you're going to be in the worst part. So you better hope to God that there is no God. Because if there is, you're fucked.
The Mayfairs, they have their own special corner in hell because of all the fucking black magic they've stolen over the years and used to fuck people over. Yeah. They have a corner, a reserved corner for Mayfairs. I'm telling you.
But like people who profit off of the suffering of other human beings, they are killing people in terrible ways and making money off of it. And our government allows it. And this was like the wild west of that point. Yeah. Because this is the early 90s. This is before the economy shat the bed and now everything is ridiculous. This is when they could still get, you can't get blood out of a fucking turnip, but you could back then because people had money. There was still money to get out of people. So
one more thing.
I hate this.
One more thing is that No, not mini wheats. Not mini wheat Mayfield. Wait, mini wheat Mayfield.
Fucking
Not that.
Pierce, Franklin, Isaac, and Wheatfield. Sorry.
Jesus. Take the wheel. No, it's that how they're saying that, oh, Michael's so caught up in his dream of finally having this house and having an endless supply of money to do whatever he wants to it. So he's so distracted by it that he's not drinking anymore like a good boy. But in that chapter where they're fucking getting ready to go on vacation, he's drinking like a fish. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Is he drinking or is he not?
And he's saying, like, I hope they don't notice I'm drinking. Like,
yeah. Hello? Is anyone home?
And then the whole, like, Michael is an old-fashioned man. And I think that the only way he is actually an old-fashioned man is that he gives a fuck about what rich people. Yeah, that too. But he gives a fuck what rich people think about him because, like, he says something to Rowan about, oh, your family doesn't like me. Why the fuck do you care? Like, why do you care? This bitch who is in charge of everything wants you to be her husband, pretty much. And he's got to pick up on that. He's psychic. He's touched her titties. Like, he knows.
He fucking knows. Also, Lasher, I don't forgive you for pushing Aaron like a bitch.
Yeah.
He sprained his ankle, you dickhead.
That was the whole point of, what was it? 34, I think. Or no, 33.
33.
All those pages, the only thing that really happened was that Lasher pushed Aaron. And it was such
10 and a half pages.
Yeah.
For it was him like pushing Aaron.
Yeah.
Like,
and it was just him, Aaron telling Michael and Rowan that this happened. Don't do anything about it. This happened.
Like, don't worry about it. And Rowan's like, oh, he's gonna hear about it from me. But you haven't even seen him. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna name my son.
Show me Lasher.
We should both name our sons Appleyard.
Lindsay.
As a tribute to Wheatfield Mayfair. I still think, god damn it. Like, there have been some weird ass names, but that especially put there next to Pierce, Franklin, and Isaac just cracked me.
Good old mini wheats. Hello.
Weedy boy.
No, I'm done here. I'm done. We did really good for having nothing to go on.
I'm not looking forward to this fishing trip or whatever. I think it's going to be boring. I hope Lasher.
I think they should just fucking summarize it. Summarize it for me, girlfriend. Please. I don't care what they're doing in Destin.
Thank you for listening to the Annegirls Podcast. You can find us on the internet at annegirls.ghostinthemagazine.site.